Elysian Gate is an online single-player RPG with multiplayer elements. You play as a lonely guardian, awoken thousands of years after Ragnarok by a young goddess named Felice. Tasked with aiding her in restoring life to Yggdrasil, the two of you escape a small island via the Elysian Gate, and beginning with the elven Japanese land of Yamatai, you must ride, climb, glide, and fight across the new 9 realms to save them from destruction by an evil as primordial as life itself.
Hello, my name is Curtisornot, or you can call me Curtis. I am the programmer for Elysian Gate. I've been playing Roblox since 2008, and since then I've made a variety of wacky and unique concepts and projects. My most recent and beloved project is Elysian Gate, which I am working on with Mukar. Most of what I do is program the game mechanics, make the in-game events, and program the plugins and tools to aid in development. The plugin you are seeing here in this clip is called the Zone Editor plugin, which is used to mark areas of the map so that when players enter, text will be displayed showing the region name. The music and ambiance, if changing, will also transition into the music and ambiance fitting the area. And lastly, the reverb of the area can also be set. This plugin makes it very easy to visualize where you're putting these zones and how big each one is. In this example, I'm setting up a zone in our testing area. There, you'll be able to see how the editor works and how zones function. We can move, scale, or rotate zones as we see fit. We can put smaller zones inside larger ones to make smaller areas of interest in the world. For example, we have one big zone representing the entirety of the game. We also have smaller zones inside of the big zone that represent the towns and villages. We can further break that down by adding smaller zones inside each of the buildings to individualize each building you can visit. When I enter the project, you'll see that the zone I am entering is the testing area zone. Any change to music and ambiance would be affected immediately. However, in this example, I am only setting the region name, so that is the only thing that will change. The next plugin I would like to talk about is the Patrol Node editor that we are using for our AI system. This editor allows us to place points down in our world with different weights. A higher weight means it's more likely for an AI to walk to it than a lower weighted point. The calculated weight also uses distance to determine if the weight is enough. The closer a point is, the more weight it has against other points. Therefore, a point far away with a massive weight can be as likely as a point really close with a lesser weight. I'd like to talk briefly about our project setup. In our workspace, we have a lot of folders to make it easier to keep track of different object types. For example, in the Climb Collision folder, we have all the part-based objects the player can climb. This does not include the terrain, which is already going to be climbable, but we can't put that in a folder. In Foliage, we have all the parts for the camera system to ignore. In Grass, we have the moving foliage that I'll show you guys later. In Items, we have all of our loose items and weapons found throughout the world. Lantern Collection keeps track of lights that need to turn on at night. NPCs keeps track of the NPCs the player can talk to. Patrol Nodes keeps track of all the nodes set up by the Patrol Node plugin. And Zones keeps track of all the zones set up by the Zone Editor plugin. We also have all of our different mechanics separated into different local scripts. They used to be all in one, but that made it a nightmare to edit anything, so we did this setup instead. The very last thing I'd like to show off is the grass that I mentioned earlier. We spent a very long time testing this feature out, even though it probably isn't the most important feature. But our grass being able to move with wind and being able to move when objects move through it was a major accomplishment for us. We also strived to make sure all grass calculations took less than 0.003 milliseconds per frame. And on average, the calculation takes about 0.0015 milliseconds per frame. And that's when we have massive areas of grass like this next to the player. We also use it for smaller foliage as well, such as bushes and leaves, and it looks really good.
Hi, my name is Mukar, known by my peers as Mason. I am the game, narrative, and world designer, as well as the modeler and composer for Elysian Gate. I've also been on Roblox since 2008, and you probably know me from many of my previous projects, such as Shadows of November, Exordium with TC Tully, and Astral Hearts with Sayonara Studios. My work on Elysian Gate dates back to 2017 with an idea for an Assassin's Creed and Zelda type game called Shogunate, where you play as a girl abandoned by her shogun father as an infant, and has spent her entire life training to overthrow his regime. Eventually, the project was cancelled to make room for a Norse project in 2018 called Project Valkyrie. Finally, in 2019, the idea began to merge into Elysian Gate as we know it today. My primary role in the project is everything Curtis isn't doing. While he's focusing on making gameplay systems top-notch, I focus on creating a beautiful world that utilizes them, good music that complements it all, and writing tales that will draw players into the world we've created. While building the world, I often delve deep into research for architectural and scalar accuracy, a habit I picked up while working on Edge of Red. The houses you see are based off of images and miniature models and current standing relics of the Sengoku period in Japan. The pagoda is also accurate, as it is built to scale according to an architectural diagram. The clothes worn by the demo characters shown in these clips are also based off of real clothes of the Sengoku era peasants. And Paraglider is based off of Japanese parasol. In the past week, Curtis and I have made a lot of progress on the project, from rewriting the footstep system to be more accurate, to a full-fledged dialogue system, complete with typewriting and choices. We can't wait to show you more as we continue development, and hope that you continue to join us on our journey towards the release of Elysian Gate.